Hi, my name is Veronica. My company is called Sacred Offerings, and every couple of weeks I do a talk called Illuminations. Basically what I do is I do a teleconference where I give people information about the energies that we are experiencing, the feelings that may be going on, etc., and offer them tips, tools, ideas, so that they can more easily integrate the energies that we are moving through. Last week, and of course, one of the things I started with was we are all moving through enlightenment very quickly. The analogy I use is this idea of a train. We are all going to go through that tunnel, and the question is, are we at the beginning part of the train? Do we have the little light that kind of, leads us through the train, through the tunnel on the train, or are we somewhere in the middle, or perhaps we're at the end of the train? Now, either way, we are going to go through this tunnel towards enlightenment. The idea of a tunnel is helpful because what we experienced last week, at least for maybe those who are at the beginning part of the train, is this feeling of going through this energy of darkness. As we are moving into our awakening process, there may be times that certain energies resonate with you but not people you know, and other energies that seem to be completely in alignment. And it's simply just a matter of where you are on that train. Now, there's no judgment about whether you are at the beginning of the train and you have this light, and whether you are at the end of the train holding the back, so to speak, of this train to move through the tunnel. The process of enlightenment is happening very quickly. Many people talk about 2012 as if, this is the time that everything's going to snap, and perhaps in some way, shape, or form, it may. What I offer is this idea that we are moving through this darkened tunnel where things may feel a little bit scary, may feel a little bit dark, may feel a little bit tight, and we may experience more of our fears. Last week, one of the things that came through for many people was this feeling of instability, that their emotions were starting to come, that they were starting to feel a little bit off, let's say. Now, in life, we all have this experience of being in a dream state, whether or not we are conscious of it. Some adults will say, oh yeah, I never dream, I never have a dream. Studies have shown that everybody dreams, and we dream all night long. However, we may not be in tune with or aware of the dream state. Either way, we are dreaming. What I was taught when I was very young was how to do some lucid dreaming, not just to be aware of my dream, not just even interpret my dream, but to become a conscious part of the dream as the dreamer. Being completely aware that my body was in a dream state, and in the dream be able to notice, this is just a dream. My first memory when I did this, I was very young, and my mom taught this method to me so that I could wake myself up or change my dreams rather than being so caught up in them when I was frightened. Now, if we have a yummy dream, let's say, sure, we can add on to that and say, geez, I'd like to incorporate more into that dream and bring more, yumminess to it. However, it's really not an issue unless we're having a bad dream, and this becomes a very useful tool. So in this particular dream, when I was young, there was a witch, and the witch had maybe a green face. She was very frightening. And it was the first time I was consciously aware that I was actually dreaming. At that point in the dream, I could have run, I could have done lots of things. I knew I had options once I was aware that I was in a dream state and this was just a dream. What surprised me most is that I didn't run from the witch. I actually didn't even stab or try to kill the witch. What I did was I reached out towards her face, the part that was most frightening to me, and I pulled off her mask. I empowered myself by totally going into that which scared me most. What we are experiencing in our lives right now, and why last week, let's say, was a little bit more intense, was that as we are moving into this awakening process, we are finding that our fears are really haunting us. that our awake dreams are really haunting us and they seem very real. Perhaps we aren't able to make our mortgage. Perhaps we are in a relationship that is coming to an end and we thought this was it and we are in extreme pain. Perhaps certain needs or desires are no longer being met by the universe in some way, shape, or form, and we are very frightened about it. So we can change the dream. We can choose to make the dream slightly different, maybe move it to a more positive aspect or state, or we can simply go into the fear of the dream and bring something in us that empowers it. Now, either way, whether you dream or you don't dream, you will wake up. Unless, of course, you literally die on this earth plane, and even then you will wake up on the other side. You always wake up. So the awakening process is not necessarily about doing, trying, becoming more enlightened by consciously working towards it. In fact, the realms that I am talking about, when we move into oneness, it is absolute effortlessness. So sure, the train does have some engine, power to move it through, but really, when we collectively all move through the train, it's like effortless. So you may be the third car in, but you're still going to go through it. You will still be experiencing the awakening regardless. Some people choose to set their alarm and they wake up in the morning at a particular time every day. Some say, I just need to sleep in. And others have really attuned their own bodies to go to sleep and to wake up at a very particular time. And they just have a natural rhythm of sleeping and waking. So it doesn't necessarily have to take effort, but if we do want to set that alarm, we can do so. It's a choice. No judgment, no right or wrong around any of it. In terms of the dream state, however, we can empower ourselves to choose different options if what we are dreaming is not what we want. We may not be able to control the dream itself. In fact, they say that nightmares are often our subconscious mind trying to tell us something. Can we look deeper into the so-called nightmare to discover what it's really about? So if there's something going on in your life, for example, and it's not going right and it's scaring you, what is really being asked of you? What is really being presented here? In the process of enlightenment, what we are moving toward, the light that we are moving toward is pure joy. What I find is that we are being asked at this time in our lives, what is most important to us? And it could be your family, it could be cultivating your joy, and it could be your enlightenment. If it brings you joy, then by all means, please move towards it. You don't have to. It's an opportunity. And if we do it willingly and joyfully, we may not have to have the nightmares. So whether you are passively not even thinking that you're dreaming and just kind of going with the flow, or whether you are experiencing some nightmares, you do have choices. You can choose to wake up. You can choose to set an alarm. You could choose to try this lucid dreaming in which you have an experience or a conversation with the dream itself, perhaps. But really, what in your life is offering you opportunities to take deeper looks at what it is you truly desire? That is what we are looking towards. That is what will bring us joy. And by cultivating that, the sooner we do so, the more joyful we will be. Thank you.